Hi guys, I'm Ryan Houston and welcome to my fly tying channel. The channel contains hundreds of different videos catering from beginners right through to the more advanced tyers and covering flies and patterns from all around the world. If you like what you see, stick around until the end of the video where generally you'll find the pattern description, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below. Let's get on with the show.
Hi guys, so tonight we're going to tie a salmon fly. It's slightly unusual salmon fly. It's a pattern that was invented by Dean Armstrong, and given its colour scheme I thought it was something to do with the Incredible Hulk. However, the story behind it is that it was themed on a very ugly shirt that Dean liked. So the fly is called the Ugly Shirt. It's a fluorescent green sort of chartreuse purple themed fly, so you can understand why I thought it was the Incredible Hulk. But anyway, so I'm tying it here on a Patriot. This one happens to be a size 4. Colour scheme, it's probably heading towards spring style flies. So we're going to put a tag or butt on this fly, and I'm going to use black wire for that. So I'm going down here to just past the fork of the hook, and then I'm going to wrap that wire backwards for 3 or 4 turns through the legs and over the top, or through the legs and under, whichever suits you better, and that creates a black butt to the fly. So then I'm going to helicopter that off. I could double it back because we're also going to use black wire for the rib of the fly, but then you have to deal with the bend that you create up here. So we're just going to tie in another straight piece of wire. I'm going to tie it in on the underside, so I'm just passing it up through the legs of the hook there, and then we'll tie back to the butt section here. So I'm using a fluorescent yellow thread, as you can see, for the tie-in of the fly, because the fly has a fluorescent yellow head to it. On this rear body section I'm going to use Glow Bright number 12. So I'm going to take a length of that that's maybe a foot or so long and pass it behind my thread, match up the two ends of it here, and then that allows me to slide down my thread and tie it in place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap these 2 strands then backwards until I hit the tag that I created, and then come forwards, and that should give us a smooth body. So we're tying on probably a little bit over half, 2/3 maybe of the hook shank there. And trim off our floss. So now we're going to rib this. So you're probably going to take 3-ish turns, maybe 4 in ribbing. Just going to tighten that in, take my tying thread back to it, tie across it, then I'll change it in line with the underneath of my shank, keep it tight, take it down 90 degrees, and then helicopter that off. That's sagey cutting with your scissors, cutting the wire with your scissors. So next we want a chartreuse hackle. So your options are either to put the hackle on and then the flamethrower type wing, or put the wing on and then the flamethrower type wing after that. It just depends on how high you want your wing to sit. So I'm going to take a sort of a schlappany type feather. You can always use cock hackles, whatever you have. And I'm just going to double the hackle, because it makes it easier to wrap. Check out my techniques section videos for doubling hackles if you're interested. So I'm just tying that in by the tip and then folding it back on itself, and then that allows me just to wrap and keep the whole hackle neat. So many turns as you want, it just depends how bushy a fly you want. Tie off the hackle and trim the stalk. And then we're going to put on our tail stroke wing. So what I'm going to do for this, there's 3 parts to it. I'm going to tie 2 and then a body section and then a third, but you could put them all on in one go if you want here. So the main colour of this is this chartreuse bucktail, so I'm going to take a bunch of that. And I'm going to utilise this curvature in it, and we're looking a wing tail that's going to be at least 2 times the length of the fly, possibly 3, or the body of the fly. So I'm just going to measure that up for length, and then I'm going to transfer hands and trim that. So we're going to tie that down there. And then to make it more secure, you could add a little bit of super glue, you could add a little bit of varnish just into the tying of it here. So what I'll do is I will use my dubbing needle and just add a tiny little bit of glue into that. There's no way that's going to pull out then. And before that dries, bind it down to tighten it up, otherwise it could get a little bit over. See, I haven't tied it back as far as the hackle just yet, and the reason for that is to keep the number of turns down, keep the thing neat. So next I'm going to put a little bit of flash in. So what I'm going to use is this green Mirage, but it's not necessary to use the green. You could use pearl or peacock or something along the lines of that. I'm going to lay that in, but I'm not taking it down the full length of the tail because it would just tangle. So I'm just going to tie 2 strands of that in and then fold them back, tie them off and cut them off a little bit shorter than the others so that it's not block-ended. And then we're going to add a little bit of a darker sort of Highlander green type fibre in here, so only on a few fibres of that. Set that up on top again, measure for length. And then bind that down. Again, tiny little bit of super glue into that. And now, holding the wing in place, I'm just going to wrap back to our hackle tie-in. So, there's also a black over wing, so your choices are, it depends on how neat you want, but you could put the black in now, or you can tie a body section in and then put a little bit of black in. I am going to put the body section and then the black. So, body, I'm going to use this chartreuse sort of spectra dubbing stuff. And we're just creating a little bleb of that in front of the hackle that we have. And then we want to put in a bit of black. So I'm going to use some black bucktail here. take a bunch of that. Just going to hold it by the tips and take out all of the shorter stuff. Only add bulk. And that then is going to sit on top of this, so we just want to check it for length. Now what I'm going to do now with this one, because our tie-in distance is much shorter than we had back here, is I'm just going to add a little tiny drop of glue just to the tips of that. Set it in so that it'll go no further than where our head's going to protrude to, and wrap back over that. And that will hold our tail, our top wing in position. I'm just going to sort of roll those together so you can see them join. Now, hackles to finish the fly. So what we're going to do is we're going to put in one of these sort of purple soft hackles here. I'm going to pick one of those. And this gives it a nice contrast, I think. So strip back the fluff. Again, I'm going to double it before I tie it in, but wrap it whatever way suits yourself. You can just tie it in by the tip and then double as you wrap. So I've nipped off the tip. I'm just going to tie in across the last little bit of stock, fold that back under tension on the thread, and then tie across the fold. And that will mean that's not going to slip out. And then we want to wrap that hackle on. So wrap, pinch, that means you can let your hackle go. So as I wrap it, I'm going to try and stroke it into position as well. Tie across the stem, fold the stem back, tie across the fold, no way that's going to pull out, and snap it off. And then there's one turn of black hackle. So I'm going to take it's a natural black I'm using here. I've doubled that, tie it in across the stem, fold it back, tie across the fold, and then put in one full turn of that. Got a fibre catching I don't like here. So there we go. Fold it back, tie back over the fold, and we can snap that off. So that's all of our hackles on. So what we need to do now is to put on some jungle cock. So I'll take a couple of jungle cock eyes here, match them up from the two sides of our cape. Strip them back a bit. A couple of turns just to hold it in position. I'm going to match this one up to it. Pinch it in place. And I'm just going to fold back the stock on each side. That means there's no way it's going to slip out. And then create a head. Finish it. So then we take the jungle cock stems, just lean them forward and trim them off. You can snap them off. that is our fly tie, so we just need to varnish it. So what I'm going to do first is I tend to use a thin super glue coat and just go around that. So you can see I haven't cut off my tying thread just yet, because I want to get it sealed with the glue. And when it is, it's not going to move, I can just slide a blade up to it and just nick that off. So what this fly requires now is coat of clear varnish, but I have to wait until that dries first. But that is the fly tied, so that is the ugly shirt from Dean Armstrong. So a spring themed fly. Hopefully you liked what you seen tonight. If you did, give us a like, subscribe, check out all the other videos on the channel, tell your friends, and until next time, tight lines, and thanks for watching.